Hello everyone, Lano here, back with another Warhammer 40k battle report, and today I will be talking a little bit about the funny moments and in general about a game I was playing just recently, which is me as the Astra Militarum versus World Leaders played by Kenny. Now this was the very first time I ever played against World Leaders, and Kenny never played them either, so it was a lot of new things for us, but especially him, to learn all the tricks and the mechanics of the faction and everything, because that is always, you know, the thing when you're playing a new faction, to learn and understand the mechanics and what go well together. You know, there's a lot of things to try out. Meanwhile, I have played a lot of Guardsmen. It is the army I play the most. It's Guardsmen and the Orcs, which I play the most. So I had definitely an upper hand in how I could play, because I know how to play most of the units. I know how to utilize like voice of command and all of those abilities and etc. So I definitely had an upper hand against Kenny in this situation. So we were playing on this map, we set it up, and of course it turned on to the long sides, meaning the map will be much shorter distance to move, which obviously benefits World Leaders. I don't know much about them, but I know they want to run up to you and beat the living shit out of you. So this was definitely something that benefited Kenny, and that was, I mean, honestly, that felt fair, because, as I said, I have experience playing Guardsmen, he had no experience with World Leaders until now, so it kind of took out each other, you know. At least I thought so. So we set up, like, for our armies, I had 2 Basilisk, I had Leontus, and Engine Seer, I had an Hellhammer. This was the first time I ever used one of the hammer or blade tanks, you know, the super tanks. I never used them, but you know what, I decided, let's try this out and see how it works, and I felt like, since Kenny is playing a completely new army, I might as well try this one out. Versus Kenny's World Leaders that had 2 units of Khorne Berserkers led by Karn the Betrayer, and one was a Master Executioner, I think. He also had a Hellbrute, a Mauler Fiend, and then we started to place our troops, and it became kind of heavy on one side of the table with the troops, and then we rolled to start the game, and who got to begin, and it was Kenny that started. And using his pre-movement shenanigans with some scouting abilities and stuff like that, and using his World Leaders faction ability with the Khorne blessings, he got extra like movement or something like that. I don't remember exactly everything, but a lot of movement and scout abilities, etc. So he literally was up in my face on turn 1. On turn 1, he was already rushed over the entire field right into my Bullgryns that were bravely standing there fighting the Exalted 8-bound and the 8-bounds and the Khorne Berserkers. A squad of 10 Canaan shock troops, they were instantly wiped out. They were like, bang, they were gone. I was like, oh, well, this is one way to start it. And my Bullgryn squad, two of them with 6 in each. They are tank as fuck. That is like the tankiest infantry you will get with Guardsmen. And I love them, they are just amazing. But they were quite quickly chopped down. One of them units was completely wiped in the first round. It was like destruction. I was like, holy shit. Had I got to start, I could have like used my Basilisk my 2 Basilisks to slow down at least 2 of the units, you know, and just wound them, etc. And maybe prevent them from reaching me right away. But now with him at the first hand, he just went right in there, starting to slap my poor units, and it just went on. This game really taught me how hard World Leaders hit, but also how fucking squishy they are. Jesus Christ on a stick, they are squishy. Holy crap, we realized that he did using a Daemon Prince, I forgot to mention that one, that gave an aura of invulnerability, and that invulnerability saved so much. Oh my god, it saved so much. I used my Vindicate Assassin on round 1 when it was my turn. I had a few Bullgryns left that had survived initial onslaught. So I was trying to fight back because I had 2 hellhounds, something I also forgot to mention because remember things is for losers. And these 2 hellhounds really did a number because they had chem cannons, so they had anti-infantry 2+. They just sprayed anytime I could. Either it was just behind the bullgryns where they were standing or on an overwatch. I used them constantly until they were eventually destroyed as well. But on round 1, I used my Vindicate Assassins to snipe on the Daemon Prince because I wanted it gone because, you know, that aura really, I realized that aura would be a problem. So I used my Vindicate Assassin, roll a 6 on attack, so that means it will do 3 extra damage on its attack. Well, the damage roll. And I managed to go through his invul save and he failed his other, like, feel no pain. And I max rolled damage, so I did 9 damage. So the Daemon Prince were on 1 wound on turn 1. And I was like, God, that was so satisfying. I was like, man, just 1 more. I need 1 more wound on that fucker to kill it. Because I also had got the mission, the secondary of assassination, so I wanted to kill a character after all. And before ending turn 1, I did manage to blow up his smaller fiend. With my Hellhammer, it was obliterated. I just blasted everything on it. And the Hellhammer had quite a lot of cannons, I would have to say. It's pretty freaking massive. And with that, I more or less had the entire left side of the map, because he just had his Hellbrute there. And with my Basilisk, I managed to shave off like his Jackals and some of the Berserkers, making them move slower as well, preventing him from moving them forward. And then on turn 2, he kept on pushing. He murdered more or less all my Bullgryns. All my squads of Bullgryns. They went into my Hellhounds. They managed to blow both of them up, and then one of my scouts. I had 1 scout left to turn 3. This game was kind of chaotic because on turn 2, I managed to use my Tempestuous Science to deep strike in on his objective, because he had left it as a sticky with his Jackals, and he had went for the center objective to grab it. But doing that left it undefended, so I could easily take it, and I already had a sticky objective on my own home base thanks to my Canadian shock troopers, and they started to move into the center objective, and they took that after they blew away the Jackals. So I more or less had most of the objectives on the field, and he struggled to keep, well, scoring points. He did his best though he had some really unlucky moments because of, like, he failed leadership tests on his Daemon Prince and Berserkers on one of the objectives, so meaning he didn't get it and he did not get points for that round, which really hurts because he needed the points on the second round. Meanwhile, I started a little bit slow with my points, but I started on the second and third turn, I just started to run away with the points. But on the second turn was where the magic happened. I was trying to kill his Daemon Prince. On my turn, I tried to kill it. He had 1 wound left. I used my Vindicate Assassin. It didn't die. He managed to roll his saves like a fucking god, you know? He needed to roll 4 or 5s and 6s, and he rolls everything. He rolled so many 6s that fucking game. It was insane. I never seen so many 6s. Holy crap. Then I used my 2 Scout Sentinels while they were still alive to blast into it. Nope, that didn't work. I used 1 unit of Canadian shock troopers. I mean, I was just throwing out damage, hoping one single wound would go through. Nope, nothing. I used my Canadian command squad. Nothing. That fucking Daemon Prince survived everything. And I was feeling the soul trickling through my pores. I was like, how is it possible? He had 1 wound! But Kenny was rolling like a god on those saves. It was insane. And then on turn 3, he decided he needed to do a gamble because he needed to grab objectives. After all, I had started to clear out his 8 bounds and his exalted 8 bounds and everything. He lost a lot of units. His Hellbrute died on the second turn as well. And I started to just clear the board. So he needed to take the objective. So he decided on a little bit of a gamble, which honestly I would do the same. He decided on his Daemon Prince to charge into the center objective because it was inside this building where I had my 10 Cadian shock troopers. You know, so absolute squishes. They die if you sneeze on them. And he rolled his charge and fails. So he uses one command point, re-rolls, and get in. I was like, snap, damn. He got inside there and he started to punch them. He had killed one unit on his range. He rolled pretty poorly there. But then he started to slap, and he slapped hard. Out of the remaining 9, only 2 stood left. He decided to take 14 attacks. In the end, I managed some saves and 2 survived. That would mean that he would still hold the objective and I would lose the objective, and it would cause me problems because he would be in an angle where I could not shoot him. Possibly with my assassin, but it was still kind of awkward. He placed him well there. And then I gonna fight back. I decided like, okay, I have one sergeant there. I use his chainsword and he start hitting 3 attacks. One of them hits. Okay. I need to roll a 6 on my wound roll. I roll a 6. He need to roll 2 up to save. He rolled a 1. He had a 6, feel no pain. He did not roll a 6. This one fucking Cadian shock trooper killed a Daemon Prince with melee weapon in melee combat. 1 attack, 1 single little fucking damage, managed to go through and kill the Daemon Prince to finish it off with that 1 single wound it had left. It was so unfucking believable, especially if you did watch my previous video, my previous battle report, where 1 cultist managed to blow up and repulsor that had 1 wound left. He shot 1 bullet and it managed to actually destroy it. It was the same thing here, but this time it was my Cadian shock trooper that just punched the shit out of this Daemon Prince. It was just insane. I could not help but laugh my ass off because he rolled that 1 and he couldn't re-roll it because he had no more CP. He already used that on the re-roll of the charge. And his Daemon Prince just died and was gone. He was so salty, and I don't blame him. I felt that in my own salty soul, because I was so salty before that, because, you know, I tried to kill him, but it didn't work. So that Daemon Prince just went down after being slammed in the face by this Cadian shock trooper. A single little character stood there, saw this Daemon Prince slaughter his entire platoon, and he's just, fuck you, and then slapped that and killed it. It was just incredible to see. And then my Hellhammer moved a little bit so I could shoot down one of his squad of Corn Berserkers. They were wiped out, and eventually he had like just a few Corn Berserkers in 1 squad left and a few 8 bounds in 1 squad. Those 2 squads was the only thing I had left, because I actually managed to shoot him off the map. And then on the 3rd turn, he did fold. He said like, yep, this is it. I can't, there is no chance, because he had too few units. I had more or less all objectives except 1, and I still had an Hellhammer with no damage onto it, and an engine here that would stand there slapping it for an invul save and healing if he would get hurt, and 2 basilisks that would constantly bomb. So in the end, I won that game. It was an intense first round, you know, with the world leaders just rushing in there, slapping, and oh my god, that scared me, I would say. And then, of course, the Daemon Prince that refused to die, I was so salty, and he did make a lot of saves. Kenny just rolled like an idiot at times. It was so insanely good. And then I could make some insanely good rolls as well. It was such a weird game, because one moment I rolled insane, then it was him rolling insane. It was a very fun game. It was very chaotic. And in the end, though, I think the main problem he didn't use Angron, because he wanted to try out random characters, you know. He wanted to try out different units, and I feel like, because every time I try out a new unit, I tried out Tau recently, first time, and then you're taking everything kind of like it's a smorgasbord, you know. You want to try out like what is cool, and after all, for me it's all not only if they are good, but if they're cool, you know. If they're cool, I don't mind if they're a little bit weaker, and all of that. So next time he is gonna try Angron, and I honestly is terrified over that, because Angron is an absolute fucking beast. Holy shit. Oh my god. But yeah, and the problem I think with this game was that most, like 95% of all his units was on one side of the map, while I had, well, mostly on my main force on that side, but I still had artillery and a big ass super tank on the other side that would just keep on blasting, you know. It kind of like undeterred from anything else, because he didn't have enough units to threaten them. So I think that was a little bit of misplay in that sense, but it was a really fun game, and World Leaders, they have definitely shown colors for me, and I have no other thing than respect for the World Leaders melee. And of course it was really fun to play against Kenny. Kenny's a good sport about it, and it is just really fun to play games, you know. It was thanks to him and my other friends, Tim and Niklas and everyone, that really got me into Warhammer again. Because I did play Warhammer as a kid, you know, and I was a teenager, but then, of course, I couldn't afford it, and it was kind of hard to find, and it kind of like dropped off for me. But since summer, I have been playing and gotten into Warhammer again, and here we are. Now I'm doing Warhammer content on my YouTube channel that really haven't done any Warhammer before, but here we are. And I will be doing more stuff of this, though, you know, telling the little random battle report stories and showing a little of the games. Maybe I will do bigger, more elaborated videos in the future. If you want that, write in the comments and tell me. And if you have any of your own funny stories and unlikely happenings in games, tell them in the comments, because I'm curious to read them. So I will be back with more things here on the channel. So thank you for watching, see you later, and have a continued super great day.